Hi, everybody, and welcome back to our series on the things we've gained through Christ. All we've gained, and it's so much that we've gained. We've been walking through these one by one as Scripture presents them to us. How do you find these things, by the way? I'm one who uses a concordance often to find things that I'm looking for. That little listing of all the passages that say this word in it, those are pretty helpful, aren't they, Tracy?
Yeah, I have mine, right on this little gadget.
Oh yeah, good. Yeah, I'm always turning to the concordance to say, okay, here it says it here. Let's see where else in Scripture it says
Right.
about this. So that's our non-golf tip for today. So we're going to look at a passage today that says that we have strength through Christ. It's a very famous, maybe infamous passage in some ways. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Paul wrote this to the Philippians, and I'm going to ask Tracy because there are a lot of athletes who use this verse. Steph Curry, our basketball golfer, I know has this often on his shoes, and he's just one of many, many. So, not calling him out because everything I read about Steph, his faith is in a really good place. But this question then is, can athletes really do all things, anything they want? And forget just athletes, can any of us do anything we want through Christ? Is this like a magic wand or what?
No. and I say, okay, cut. No. I say that, I just took a Bible and sport class through the Faith and Sport Institute, and
Yeah.
we spent a whole week on just kind of dissecting this verse and how it's used in sport. And it was really enlightening, even for me, and how much this verse really does get used out of context.
Yeah.
And if you're somebody that, you see this verse out there, start to pay attention to which part of the verse is highlighted.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times it's, I can do all things, which is the opposite of what that verse is saying.
Right.
It's not I that can do it. It's Christ's strength that can do all things. And we can talk about, a lot of people don't use the verse or read the verse ahead before it. When Paul is saying, I was content in a shipwreck, in sickness, in being in prison, and I've been content in having been well fed and joy. And so I think when it comes to, can athletes do all things, anything, we can, in the sense that it's Christ who's giving us the strength to contend with whatever circumstances we're faced with. And sometimes that's the trophy at the end. And sometimes that's missing the cut and no money and in debt and lack of confidence. And, and so in those both extremes, we have the strength through Christ to get through that circumstance.
There's this expression that Bible teachers often use about sufficient unto the day. That we get the strength that we need today, we get the understanding we need today, we get the grace that we need today. Is that the way this is, that no matter what the day throws at me, I can trust that Christ will give me the strength I need for this day? Is that what we're talking about?
I've never thought about it that way, but I think I would be probably dishonest with myself if I said an absolute yes to that.
Okay.
And because I know that what I've come to believe is that Jesus also wants us to co-participate.
Okay.
In our life.
Okay.
And so we can't just sit here and okay,
absolutely right,
I pray and want this and this. And so I also believe as an athlete that we have to work hard. We have to be diligent. We have to have self-discipline. We have to work on our mindset, all of those things. And so I think that that's true for us as believers in Jesus as well, that what we do today is preparation for something in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sufficient for today. So maybe that's where I would land on that.
Yeah, that's well said. And we don't know what tomorrow holds. We can't borrow against tomorrow, really. We have to, we have to wait for it to come to see what it'll bring, because if 2020 didn't teach us that, what did it teach us? That we have no idea
Yeah.
what's coming or how big it's going to be or what adjustments it's going to cause us to make. But what I can trust is that Jesus will be there
Hmm.
no matter what changes in my life, no matter what is new and challenging. I know that I have a partner that can give me strength like nothing else can.
Yes, I totally agree.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Tracy. And thank you to all of you who are with us today. We've got a couple more weeks in our series, and we hope you're able to be with us. And we'll see you then.